Hi, everyone. I'm Sandra Ingerman, and welcome to the Shamans Cave.
And I'm Renee Baribeau, and we are excited to be here with you again.
So we've been talking about on various shows different tools that you can try that really work for both Renee and I for staying sane. And we have done shows on this, but the holidays are coming up. And it seems like the holidays, period, just the holidays coming up is enough to throw people into a panic. And then you throw in family, and then you throw in travel, and you throw in all the other things that are going on, and people are getting overwhelmed. Overwhelm is a big issue that people are dealing with, period, right now, and we're moving into the holidays. So what are some tools that we can work with to help us with the overwhelm? And so I know I've been talking about that a lot. And so I in former shows, and so I'd love to hear what Renee has, and I'll add some more tools to how we can stay sane during this time.
Well, one thing we'd like to ask you is to, besides for subscribe on YouTube, to actually list the tools that you use to stay sane during the holidays so other people can read down through the list and see if there's some that they forgot that they have. Because a lot of times when people are saying something, they're like, oh, yeah, I used to do that. The one thing recently I saw somebody's Facebook post about how they didn't want to talk about Thanksgiving because it always brought up their really unhealed childhood memories. And I my first response was to comment like, well, you've got a big brain with lots of neural pathways, create new rituals. So one of the rituals that I've created for myself over the last 10 or 11 years is that I've always done a solstice celebration where I actually hold the candles and hold the light and hold my altar for the 10 days over the winter time so that that it transforms my relationship to my early ceremonies around Christmas because Christmas is in the police department. The time of the biggest domestic violence is the days leading up to Christmas. And then
Mhm.
the days leading up to New Year's is when all of that changes and everyone's having a party. But if there's this upswing in violence and domestic violence and all of the stress that's being caused, then we need really good tools to help people really navigate those times and also the memories of those times.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the holidays are definitely a time of crazy memories coming up. I'm really lucky in that I dealt with so much trauma in my life, but holidays were not traumatic. So those were times of peace in my family, and times where I could relax a little bit. So, but I know I listen to people. I know the tenseness. I know what people are definitely going through. And so, for me, tools that I've been sharing with people, because this is a channel for people who are interested in shamanism, is shamanism is a practice of direct revelation. So, what that means is if you're having struggles about memories or about facing the upcoming holidays in any way, why aren't you taking a journey to your amazing helping spirits who are your greatest allies in life, who are looking down exactly on your past, what happened to you in the past, and can see what you're stepping into on the holiday here. And they can actually give you a unique, easy ceremony to let go of the past and words and a way to prepare yourself. It might even be putting seeing yourself with a brass medal over your solar plexus to bounce off what comes from your family. A lot of people get that when they journey to their helping spirits as a form of protection when they go into the holidays. It's a really common thing. So use your allies. And as Renee was talking about, ceremony is always a way to come back to a place of stability and center. And ceremony for me is the best way to let go of a past memory, whether it's writing it down on a piece of paper or making a representation of it, and really blowing in the power of it and releasing it into the fire, so that that memory, you extract the memory out of you. It can't be a representation. It has to be the actual memory. You pull it out, you blow in all that power into that memory, and you give it to the fire, and fire, fire, rising higher, fire, fire, transforming me. And so that can transform. You can sit in an airport with Tic Tacs and journey as you're dealing with, oh my God, what am I stepping into? You can talk to the wind and ask the wind to take from you. You can go to the beach and draw your memory, draw everything that happened, and let the ocean come in and take it away from you. You can bury something into the earth. We have ceremonies that you can do, and we've been talking about transfiguration endlessly on this show, where you get into a different presence, where you put your ego aside and you get into your true spiritual nature, and your true spiritual nature is light. And the true test of whether or not you're growing in your spiritual work is, can you walk into a challenging situation and hold your light and be a light and be a presence of light?
Mm, those are great. I like to make ceremonies with Christmas trees. I my altar. And we've talked about this before, that our altars are, we consider our whole house as our altars. But at the holidays, I like to decorate. I like to bring in all the spirit of it. And the other thing that I'd like to do is random acts of kindness. Because even if I go back and look at, like, oh well, I got we my parents were, while they were emotionally always very charged at the holidays, they always made sure we had gifts, and all that, we were felt physically well cared for. And so there's a lot of people out there who aren't. So, like, the giving of something that you've made to somebody else, like a cookie exchange, that where you actually make something from your own spirit that you share, really makes a big difference. Or like, even like the toys for tots, or some way that you don't expect anything in return for the gift that you're giving, will change your day dramatically.
Yeah, I like giving. Um, I'm more of a giver. I don't do well with receiving. And I'm trying to learn. Trying to learn. I'm learning with all of you, and it's really beautiful, the lessons that we're getting right now. If you really tune in to the deepest part, yeah, it's an interesting time, because there's people who are really lonely, who have nobody. I know a lot of people like that. And there are people who are so overwhelmed by how much they have to do for the holidays, and there are people who don't celebrate at all because they just don't want to deal with all the craziness. And there are people who are diving into their families no matter what the past was. So people have all these different experiences on the holidays, but it's all about how do you feel sane and how do you feel stable and what can you do to make sure that you're not comparing yourself with how other people are going through the holidays, because that's not a good thing to do either. If we can really look at everything that's happening in our life right now is a teaching, and that we really are getting something from this. If we could start to look at the teaching that we got, or the teaching that we're getting, I think that is also another way to reframe and move forward so that you're not being burdened by the past. What did you learn? So that now you have more tools to move forward.
Absolutely. You know, I always go back to my practical tools, like the cooking. I love to cook because it brings me in touch with spirit, and so I cook myself a good meal or a refresh a nourishing, to bring in the sustenance for me. Those because if I otherwise I could fall prey to woe is me, when this was going on, and that's just not the reality that I choose to create for myself anymore. And I do think that every day is a new opportunity to create yourself a new ritual and to start a new holiday experience for yourself and whatever. That's why over the years to do these fire ceremonies, this candle vigil for 10 days has really shifted my perspective into, the woe is me, into holding space with a group of other people who had probably, 100 different other holiday experiences that they bring to their altars and their candles. And I just think that it's so crucial for us to create new rituals and ceremonies because after COVID, things have changed.
Hmm. Absolutely. And I, there was something that came up for me while you were talking, Renee, and I think it's really really important. I talked about this before. I did this study with the integrative medical school at the University of Michigan with heart attack patients. And one of the exercises that we did was to write your story of creation, your own personal story of creation instead of what the Bible said. And I happened to have a group. It was a randomized study, and my group was 97, 98% fundamentalist Christians. So, of course, I was really, really nervous. I told them I was going to put on music, and I put on Pachelbel, and I taught them how to do automatic writing and how to get their. I didn't use the words automatic writing because they looked everything up in the Bible, how to work with my wording correctly. And I put on the music, and oh my God, the crying that went
Mm.
on, the touching of they got their own personal story. And this is a group that was so, they wouldn't let go of their Bibles. And the only judgment they had on me was that I played Pachelbel, and Pachelbel is used in too many other things. And so it brought back too many memories for them. I thought that they were going to burn me, but it didn't work out like that. And the reason I'm bringing this up is here was a group so so hypnotized into their creation story. And when they had a chance to find their own, it brought such meaning and healing into their lives. So, why aren't we doing that as shamanic practitioners? Why aren't we coming up with our own story of what Christmas is about for us?
Mm.
Not about what it is for the culture, but what is the meaning for us? What is Hanukkah for us? What are all the different names of holidays that I'm sorry, I'm not a calendar person, so I don't know a lot of the holidays. And what touches us, and make it your own. Make up your own story about the holidays that are coming and what it means to you personally and celebrate it as it's your own holiday. I think that would be great.
That's funny. I pulled out my menorah yesterday because I found these beautiful candles that I wanted to light them. They're like, oh, I need to find the menorah for those candles because I got excited about the I got excited about the candles that opened up the experience. Like, wow, I haven't lit the menorah in years. You know, I'm not Jewish, and the other thing that I love to do during this time is I love to go find carolers.
Hmm.
And I might have to go to the Catholic Church. And when I go to the Catholic Church, when he says word, I say wind. You know, it's all the word. No, it's the wind. And you know, and I make it because one thing I learned in Peru many years ago was that in the back of the in the big cathedral in the center of town, you go in there, and in the back row, there's the shaman or the the pacos they call them with their mesas, their bag of stones, because when they brought Christianity to Peru, a lot of the conquistadors sent the people packing, but then the people who worked with that, they when they painted the church temples, there's people chewing cocoa leaves, and they interspersed their ceremonies, but the missionaries didn't recognize it, but in their mind they were bringing more God, more
Right.
celebration, more, because if everything's alive with spirit, it's all spirit. And so, like, what is your spirit doing to enliven your creation? So I love that idea that you just made about writing. What how do you enliven your own creation?
I like that. Make the holiday your own.
Mm-hmm.
Make your life your own. Make your experiences your own. And then I'm using this phrase more and more recently. You can grow into the new you because we have been dismembered. The world dismemberment is not over, but a lot of us are coming out of our personal dismemberments. And when you come out of your personal dismemberment, it's about being reborn. And that means you have to grow into the new you because you are a new you. You got birthed again for
Mm-hmm.
a new time. And so, how do you grow within you? And with the holidays, you come up with what the holidays mean to you and what are the lessons that you learned from past holidays and how can you change where we're going with our holidays and make it your own and just notice how all of a sudden what was just rote and you just had to get through all of a sudden becomes a sacred event.
Mm-hmm. Find the sacredness in everything this holiday, and stay with us at the Shamans Cave, and like us and comment. Why don't you share with us on the either in the Shamans Cave or on the YouTube channel, what are your favorite traditions? And if they bring up bad memories, what is a new tradition you're going to try this time? Make a new tradition. What maybe maybe you're going to try this creation writing exercise, and but let us know, because we're here with you. We're not separate from you, and we really like to know what's going on.
That's right. We're curious. So we're with you and we want to know what other people are doing and what other people are thinking about because we want to be inspired personally ourselves. And we also want to know what you need and how we can inspire you. So thank you, everybody. And we do wish you a really beautiful holiday and make it your own, and it will be beautiful. And I just send blessings to all of you because my God, can you believe it? We are getting ready to move forward into a new year. And trust me, we don't want to take all that old stuff with us into a new year. So do your work.
And in that new year, it's going to be season 5. Can you believe that?
No.
It's just unbelievable that we have so much to talk about and laugh about. And trust me, we had a conversation before we even hit the record button today for an hour. And I don't know if we, I hope we amuse you as much as we amuse each other. Thank you.